Bite Bug, a bug monster that flies. Stay calm and attack precisely. It's not a very strong enemy. This pesky blue insect is one of the first monster types the player will encounter. Glacial Eye, a floating monster that uses ice magic. When running low on HP, uses Vampire to suck HP from opponents. It is fought on the plains of Balaam, being a good source of blizzard spells at the beginning of the game. During the Balaam Garden Revolt event, glacial eyes are fought inside the garden, and one, accompanied by a bomb, is summoned by the garden faculty at the quad. Caterpillar uses an attack called Ultra Waves that damages all enemies. It is an insect-type enemy, and one of the first the player is likely to meet as they roam outside Balaam Garden. During the Balaam Garden Revolt event, caterpillars appear within the garden building, and one is summoned by a garden faculty at the dorm if the player tries to enter while having declared they are aligned with Headmaster Sid. Festitocolon F, a fish that swims in the ground. Only the fin can be seen. One theory says that it may be a shark. It is a fiery red fish that often appears in groups of 3. The F signifies it as a fake counterpart to the real, noticeably larger Festitocolon. When targeted in battle, the enemy is known simply as Festitocolon. The name Festitocolon F is used for its triple triad card to distinguish it from the Festitocolon card. T-Rexor alive since the beginning of time. Its power and HP are very high. It's better to run if you encounter one. It can be encountered in Balaam Garden Training Center, in the forests on Balaam Island, and on the island closest to Hell. If Squall encounters one with Quistis, either during the Fire Cavern mission or during their meeting in the training center after the inauguration ball, Quistis will prompt the player to flee the battle. During the Balaam Garden Revolt, T-Rexors appear as random encounters around the facility, and in a fixed encounter at the training center if the player chooses to defend the kids there from the garden faculty. Red Bat, a type of bat with huge mouth, lurks in dark places, dives quietly from the air to its target. It usually, if not always, appears in groups. It has the lowest HP growth of all enemies in the game, and is thus often defeated with a single hit. Bomb, a monster powered by fire. Usually calm, but still a dangerous monster that becomes gigantic or explodes when attacked. It is a floating ball of fire that can detonate in a final attack to both destroy itself and damage the player. Buell. Any magic attacks are almost completely ineffective. However, very weak against physical attacks. It is a physically weak flying monster that uses various magic. Ifrit, Fire GF, uses fire magic. It's a strong opponent, but as it is a part of Garden's exam, not impossible to beat. Fought at the end of the Fire Cavern. After defeating Ifrit in a timed battle, he will join the party as a Guardian Force. The timed battle is part of the CD exam and determines the judgment score. The less time left in the clock when Ifrit is defeated, the better the score. G-Soldier, Galbadian soldier that uses magic with a sword. Strong enough, but nowhere near as strong as any CD member. Though they are nimble, they fall quickly before the might of CDs. Elite Soldier, an officer acting together with Galbadian soldiers. Defeat him first, before he uses recovery magic on the other soldiers. They are Galbadian officers that act together with G-Soldiers and other Galbadian forces. Gizzard lives in humid places. It sneak attacks humans that pass by. Uses status attack when fully grown. It is a useful enemy, since it drops lots of screws needed to upgrade many weapons. Its triple triad card is the first on the card stock, and it is arguably the game's weakest monster. At medium and higher levels, Gizzard gains a new attack. Bad Breath inflicts magical damage, and may inflict slow on all party members. They are weak enemies, and usually die to one normal attack. Anacondor, a large venomous snake that uses squeeze attacks. Use caution when its HP are low. It spits poisonous fluid. The party is forced to fight one in Dolet on their way to the communications tower. It also appears as a random encounter afterward in various areas. Biggs, first encounter, a Galbadian major. Activated the Dolit communication tower. Very short-tempered. He has fought with his subordinate, Wedge. Biggs and Wedge are soldiers in the Galbadian military who keep being demoted and act as something of a comic relief. Wedge, first encounter. A Galbadian soldier assigned to Dolit communication tower. Always picked on by his superior, Major Biggs. Wedge only has access to a weak sword slash and fire, and his HP is not much higher than a regular G soldier's. Elveret, a monster that lives in the abandoned Dolit communication tower. No one knows where it came from. Its appearance is similar to another monster called Elnoil. It is a flying monster who lives on the abandoned communications tower outside Dolit. It could be considered the first proper boss of the game, since the Fire Cavern is a tutorial area. It is faced immediately after fighting Biggs and Wedge. X-ATM-092. Galbadia's mobile attack weapon, aka Black Widow, doesn't stop until it kills all enemies in its path. It is a massive spider-like robot activated by Biggs to pursue the player party as they leave the Dolit communications tower with a timer active. The party must attack it until it collapses and enters self-repair mode, and it is advised to take this opportunity to flee, as it cannot be defeated at this point. From then on, X-ATM-092 will chase the party. It is possible, albeit difficult, to avoid the encounters. If it catches up with the party, they are forced to fight it again. Rat. Its body is mostly a digestive bag. Digests enemies by catching them with its vine. Uses a gas attack that causes sleep. It is a weak enemy found in Balaam Garden's training center and in the final dungeon. It is a plant that uses status attacks and is among the few random encounters to be immune to ejecting attacks. Grinaldo. A large insect-type monster that is a survivor of some ancient race. Uses its large spikes and tail to attack. During the Garden Clash incident, and in Ultimecia Castle, the Grinaldo can be fought as a regular enemy. Despite earning no EXP in the boss fight, the Grinaldo enemy fought in normal battles will earn the player EXP. Raldo. May look slow due to its stone-like body, but it is actually quite fast. May appear in numbers. Squall and Quistis face 3 Raldos with a Grinaldo in Balaam Garden Training Center on the graduation night. They can later be encountered as regular enemies in Ultimecia Castle.